Hi, I want to talk about the role of hunger in fasting. Hunger is primary. You could use different words, hunger, desire, longing, but hunger, again, is that which comes underneath our fasting. We love a real person, and part of loving is longing. Hunger is central. And the thing about hunger is the Lord has set up His kingdom in such a way that He gives to the hungry. He gives to the one who hungers and thirsts for righteousness. And said the other way, our hunger, the degree that we hunger, is our ceiling. To whatever measure that we long, to whatever measure that we hunger, that's also the ceiling in where we will go, in what we will be satisfied with in God. And so just think of it like that, making room on the inside, even like our physical bodies. If you're hungry, you can eat a feast. But if it's Thanksgiving Day and you've already eaten that feast and someone shows up at your door with pizzas, you can't eat another thing. And so that's why this grace of fasting is absolutely so important to growing in Jesus, because it causes that space. It creates that place where we can have room to be filled. And to whatever measure that we hunger, that's the measure that we can be filled. And so it's central to the way the Lord gives. He says, how much do you want? How much do you want of me? And we say, Lord, I'm hungry. I want it all. I remember this one time I was praying, Lord, I want the fullness, all that you would give the human heart. Everything, I want it all. And I felt like the Lord just showed me a picture. And here I am, and I'm praying these big prayers, and He really takes them seriously because He is full of grace, and He has every intention of answering our big prayers. But He's looking at me and He's going, Dana, you have capacity that's like a shriveled up raisin. That's how, you don't have room. I want to answer you, make room. Hunger is what makes room. And hunger is also a gift of God. Hunger is something when we experience genuine hunger, spiritual hunger. We've all tasted it when our hearts are longing for more of Jesus. Sometimes we can even have a wrong perspective or a wrong understanding of what's happening right there. When your heart's vulnerable, because hunger is vulnerable, longing is vulnerable. You're hanging in that vulnerable place. You're saying, God, I want more. God, I need you. God, I want you to answer me. And you're vulnerable in your hunger. And then when you don't see an answer, when maybe it seems like there's a delay, He doesn't come, He doesn't answer, we can walk away from that vulnerable hunger with wrong conclusions. We can decide, He didn't answer. He doesn't want to answer. Maybe it's something wrong with me, or maybe He's not as good as I thought. But what we have to know is this: hunger is not a sign of God's absence. Hunger is proof of His presence. And when we find hunger moving on the inside, Jesus, I want you more. I desire you, God. We can know that is the work of the Spirit, causing our affections to yearn and reach and long. That's the Lord Himself. He's not denying us. He's answering us with the gift of hunger. And then there's the part that we play. We embrace that hunger. We say yes to that hunger. Rather than filling our capacities and souls with all the lesser things, we make room. And we make room through the fasting for that hunger to actually grow. And so this role of hunger in fasting, it's the desire. And the Lord, what He does is we hunger. We embrace that hunger, which is a gift from Him, but it's also a part that we play by saying yes to it. And as we do that, our capacity grows for more of God. And then the Lord answers us. We actually begin to experience some of those rewards, some of those benefits. We begin tasting, experiencing, seeing, getting our comfort shifted over to truly treasuring because we're truly tasting of Jesus. And when that happens, that it not only satisfies, but it also increases the desire. It's a paradox. The tasting of Jesus both satisfies and causes us to be wounded with desire for more. And the Lord brings us on that journey. An increase of hunger causes increase of capacity, causes increase of our experience of the Lord, which causes an increase of desire. And we continue to move on that journey of desire growing, of understanding and revelation and experiential knowledge of Jesus growing, which causes an increase of desire. It's this beautiful way that the Lord leads us, and it causes us to be able to let go of the pleasures of this world. It causes us to actually overcome besetting sins. Because our comfort has shifted, we actually desire Him more. And it's this gift and this grace of longing. But one of the things that is also important to know is that hunger and longing, it comes at first as a longing to long. We don't begin with this fervent, fiery, consuming longing like we see at the end of the story in Revelation 22:17. We begin with, God, it's not okay how little I want you. I want to want you. I long to long for you. I want to want you more. And even that is part of longing for God. It's part of hungering for God. It's the wanting to want. And the Lord wants to encourage our hearts. Even that is me. I'm working in you, because that desire it's like a promise of how I'm going to satisfy. Even the longing to long, the wanting to want, is the indicator I am going to fill you. I am going to answer. So when we find ourselves, I remember being in that place, in that wrestle, and that vulnerability in my early years, and I was in pain. I mean, this that I'm saying today, how I wish someone would have said it to me, because I was about to decide that the Lord was rejecting me. There I was hungry, I wanted more of God, I was waiting in prayer, I was fasting, and there was nothing. Nothing was happening. I didn't feel like He was answering me at all. And I remember leaving this prayer meeting one night, and I ran into a friend of mine, tears streaming down my face, and I just was like, I don't know. I guess He doesn't want to answer me. I guess He doesn't want to come to me. And she had the insight. It was this precious moment in my history in Jesus. She had the insight to say, wait a second. You didn't cry like that a few months ago. You never used to weep like that over tears of longing for Jesus. That's new. The Lord's doing something. And as I left that night, I remember going, wait a second. What if this is you? What if these tears of hunger and longing, what if that's your answer? What if my waiting before you is and this tears and this longing that I'm having, what if that is your coming? And in that night and in those days, I began to shift in my understanding. This hunger is the Lord. He's working, He's drawing me. And I'm gonna say yes to that gift of hunger. And again, as we say yes to that longing, our ceiling gets higher. We embrace the ache. Though there be a sting, though there be a cost, hunger is painful. Nobody denies it. Longing, hunger, it hurts. But we say yes. We say, Jesus, I love you, and I can't love someone without hurting. It's part of loving, and in my loving you, I am wounded with longing. I hurt, I hunger. And that hunger increases. And then the Lord can fill us. And it's no longer a place of limitation, but we are giving Him access. Our capacity is wider so that we can receive even more of Jesus, which is the greatest commodity we could possibly possess. He is the true satisfaction, and He becomes the true comfort of our souls.